Brian Ortega or Yair Rodriguez? See who fighters are picking in the main event of UFC Long Island in the latest edition of MMA Pros Pick.
Ortega has more ways to win, so that's the reason why I gotta pick him. His striking is good, but his grappling obviously is probably the best in the division. So I'm gonna go with Ortega. It just depends on if you can get Yair down or not.
If I had to pick, I think Brian Ortega. I think his striking has caught up with his jiu-jitsu, and I think he can keep it on the feet with Rodriguez, and Rodriguez got to be worried about those takedown and submission attempts. And I just think Ortega's got a couple more weapons. But anything can happen in that one for sure.
I like Rodriguez by finish.
Yair. I think Yair is literally one of the most dangerous dudes I've ever seen fight. I mean, that guy is crazy. He is so good, so talented. Like, I love the way he fights. I would never ever want to be in the cage with him because the way he can kick and the power that he generates with no space is just amazing. So I'm definitely rooting for him, and I think he'll win.
Oh man, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go with Brian Ortega.
After watching Brian Ortega's last performance, I think Brian. He after the Max Holloway fight, there was a lot of questions, and when he came back against Korean Zombie, I think he answered a lot of those questions. Like his striking seemed to improve kind of tenfold. He was much more comfortable, kind of loose. He was doing really well on there. And then obviously he's got the amazing jiu-jitsu that we almost didn't even really see in his last fight to back everything else up. Yair, I was a little bit questionable about him, but then he came in and fought Max and did really well against Max. I was like, oh wow, maybe Yair's still in his prime and still doing well. But yeah, I don't see where he's going to beat Brian. I think if Brian brings that same striking as he did against Zombie, he should beat him standing. And if worse comes to worse, Yair starts beating him standing, I think Brian can take him down and probably sub him.
Oh, I got to go with T-City. That's my dog.
I think Ortega's got a grapple in that one, to be honest. Rodriguez, he had that long layoff, didn't he? And then for them to chuck him straight in with Holloway, I was sort of thought class a tough fight to come back to after such a long layoff. But even against a guy of Holloway's caliber, he looked so good. He had a lot of success. He had moments where he looked like he hurt Holloway, and he didn't look a step behind for a guy who hadn't fought for a long time. So I think Ortega's got a grapple. I think after that last fight of Holloway, he's opened a lot of eyes as to the actual level he's at as well. So I think he's going to take it, if I'm honest. I think he's obviously he's a 5-rounder, and I think based on that last fight, I know Ortega's had a tough couple of outings in his last few. I mean, he had that war with Holloway, he had the war last off with Volkanovski, and there's only so many of them you've got in the tank, in my opinion, and that can weigh on you. And although Rodriguez had a tough last fight with Holloway, he hasn't taken the damage, I don't think, that Ortega's taken. So I'm going Yair.
With that original flow, head kicks with the pros, picks of the fights or anything in the mix. Getting closer to the heart of the flame, bringing conversations with heavy hitting names. You feel the love of the game.